Hi friends, I am going to stay on here for a couple minutes just to wait to see if anybody comes online. Basically what I was thinking about doing, and I posted a video about this a few weeks back, but I would like to start a conversation with my friends in my network and see if you have any questions or want to ask me anything, technology, IT related. If you're starting a small business, hi Tasha and Tom. So as many of you know, I do UI UX work, which is basically website design. I know a bit about search engine optimization and putting your business on social media. So I was hoping if you have any questions or comments, or just want to leave me questions in the comments and I can answer them while we're here. It's been a long time since I've done this. So yeah, and if I don't get to you until after the video, then I can always answer it in the questions later or do another video. But I was thinking about maybe doing this once a week if it's interesting to everybody. So hi. So if you have any questions or just a topic that you'd like me to kind of go off on a tangent on, I was thinking, you know, like personal branding type related stuff. I'd be happy to answer your questions. This is a good opportunity too. There's people on here like, I just noticed my friend Calvin Lee is very popular in this field as well. So yeah, let's start a conversation. I see there's a few people online right now. Hi, Zach. Zachary Bells Henry is my realtor. Highly recommend friending him if you're in the Des Moines area and looking for a real estate agent. Best website platform. I think website platform would be very dependent on what kind of website. If you're just looking for branding, if you need something quick and cheap and want to try to do it on your own, they say WordPress is kind of a gateway for that because it's very easy to use, very user friendly. So if you want to be able to put your own content on and be able to integrate things really easily, they have all kinds of plugins that you can use that are mostly free. They do have paid versions of themes and stuff that you can just purchase for around $30. So you can get a very nice website really cheaply by using WordPress. To have it super customized, you're gonna have to have your own hosting, and that can lead into its own problems where if you do your own hosting, you have to make sure to keep WordPress up to date. Otherwise, you can end up with malware and everything else. It's not very fun. I like to put some of my personal blogs on Blogspot, but coding for that is a little bit more complicated. So you'll have to know somebody who can help you with that unless you're willing to use one of their templates. And most of their templates are not very nice, especially the mobile versions of it. But for somebody who knows what they're doing, that can be very easy and free. Now, if you're a slightly bigger business or you want to go e-commerce, something along those lines, you might want to look into like a Drupal or a Joomla, sorry. It's Joomla, and Drupal is Drupal. And those are both also CMS systems, which stands for Content Management System. And those basically make it so that the non-tech savvy can post their own content. Again, if you're going with the WordPress route, you can always get Shopify so that you can do your own e-commerce, which means like you can sell online. You're also going to want to look into payment platforms then, and there's quite a few that I can think up if somebody's interested in that. I'm having a hard time like coming up just off the top of my head, but you know, there's always PayPal, Square. Square also makes another thing where you can share between friends, send money for free. It's called Cash.me, cash.me, and that's in the App Store as well. So there's a few tips on best website platforms. Anything more complex than just wanting to brand yourself as a business, you're gonna probably want it to be a little bit more customized. And if you want it to do cool stuff where it like saves in real time, has chat systems, those kinds of things, you're gonna wanna hire a developer who can code in something like React or Angular, and that's a lot more complicated. Zach asked, do you think having a personal app for your business is still important, or is it worth it? I guess, what do you have in mind? What would you use that app for? I think it would depend on the type of business and what you're gonna do. Like the businesses who just make apps that have games just to brand themselves, it's probably a waste of money because building a mobile app is expensive. I mean, yeah, it's expensive. So what are you doing? Like Walgreens being able to order your prescription, or Starbucks where you are probably using that app every day and somebody's, using that to pay for their stuff and keep track of rewards. That's probably worth it. But for a small business owner, maybe not. In your case, so Zach, the Coldwell app, I think that's sometimes better than even Trulia. So yes, and it again depends on kind of what they're doing with it. So going back to your case where you're mostly selling homes locally in our area and a lot of the results for the MLS in your app is better than some of the bigger names, then yeah, it's probably worth it. Thinking about, well, we'll give it another example, right? So if somebody is a dog trainer or a dog walker or something like that, I could see reasons why you might want to have those kinds of apps, because making a mobile experience that works on every single phone is going to be really complicated, right? And that's the whole point of having a personal app for your business, is that you can make a custom one for Android and you can make a custom one for Apple. But yeah, Susan, dog trainer, I'm giving you as the example. I think that's nice because then you can make a very branded experience for your clients, but it just depends on, are you going to get the return for it? Is it really going to be worth the money of building that app in the first place? Because if it's not, why would you build it? You're just kind of throwing money down the drain. Whereas taking your current website experience and making that responsive or adaptive is a lot less expensive. It's still going to take time and money, and it depends on what kind of platforms you're working with. But I can see arguments both ways. And with how many different kinds of phones there are these days, then there's a lot of different reasons to go different directions. Does anybody else have any questions? Are you starting a small business? Do you have questions about search engine optimization? How to get your website to show up better online, building a new website, increasing social media presence or personal branding? I'd love to help answer your questions. And if nothing else, just kind of connect my friends in my network here and start that kind of a conversation. And again, I'd like to start trying to do this once a week. So even if you just have comments about when would be a kind of time to do that, Sue, all of that. Ask a specific question. Give me something to talk about. I was kind of thinking around this time, Friday, 4 o'clock, people are about to go a little brain dead at work anyway, so, or getting off of work. So yeah, I mean, what kind of business do you have? Do you have coding specific questions? Do you want to talk about business intelligence, artificial intelligence, search engine optimization? I guess I'll just come up with a topic while I'm waiting for somebody to ask me a question. Beer. Beer sounds good, JP. I can't answer questions about that though, but yeah, I'd love to have a beer. I was actually thinking about maybe starting a podcast even with my friend Will. He's going to school right now for software development. So me on the design side, him on the software development side, maybe we could do a podcast once a week where we both try out a new beer, wine, whatever, and just answer people's questions and maybe post it on Facebook and YouTube. Talk about keywords or how to get a greater presence. So search engine optimization, if you want to think of it, I always kind of describe it this way, so sorry if this is repeat for anybody, but an easy way to think about it is your website is like a book. and Google and Yahoo, they're their own libraries, right? So what you're doing with the keywords is categorizing your book in a certain section of the library, like a genre. So, you know, if you have a hotel and the hotel happens to have a scuba diving instructor because you're in Florida or whatever, and most of the content on your website, the actual content, not the stuff that's like maybe written in photos or whatever, or is just random booking type stuff that doesn't really have any keywords in it. If most of that is talking about the scuba instructor, where do you think you're going to be categorized as? If somebody goes to search for your hotel, you're going to show up under scuba diving mostly. So that's the most important thing, is having fresh new content and stuff that actually is relevant to your business and your website. That's why a lot of small business strategists will recommend that small businesses who want to compete have a blog, and they actually talk about things in their area. That way it kind of narrows it down to being region specific. So most of the people who are coming to your website aren't nationwide, because that's not relevant to you. Like if you're running a small bakery in Des Moines, you probably are willing to maybe ship your cookies elsewhere, but you don't necessarily need a bunch of people from New York. I have to write. Sue, we've had this conversation. Yeah, either you have to write or I have to write. But I mean, there's other ways of getting content too, right? Like I'm making this video right now. So if you have a small business, you could talk about what you do. And I know this isn't the most professional video ever. I'm not a video editor. I've never pretended to be. I probably even look a little silly sometimes on here because I get nervous talking in front of a bunch of people, even if they're my friends. So you can make a video, and then there are plenty of very inexpensive places like Fancy Hands, which is an online administrative assistant, and they will transcribe your videos for you, which is really cool. So for them, you can get unlimited help or whatever, and I think it's like 15 or 20 bucks a month. There's other places, freelance.com, Fiverr, Fivver, and for $5 you can hire somebody to do that for you. You can even hire people to actually write the content for you for anywhere from $5 to $100 per article, and most of them, the copywriters, will charge you per word. So you're going to want to average around 500 words per article, ideally for a longer one, maybe even up to 3,000. And then you'll want to integrate photos, and if you do that, there are these things called alt tags. So you'll describe your image. Tasha says, wine samples, I'm in, haha. Don't have to have any other knowledge in what you're talking about, but could contribute to the entertainment by wine sampling. Absolutely. Yeah, if you want to come over and be a part of the podcast and just sample the fresh wine, that sounds good. I actually subscribe to this really cool company, and I can share, they give you free stuff if you share it with other people. Both of you get free stuff, actually. It's called Naked Wines. And I love it because it's all US winemakers. And if you're what they call an angel wine investor or something, basically means you put a certain amount of money every month into your account, which you can always take it back out. Then you buy wine by the case, and it's like wine that would normally be somewhere between $20 and $60 per bottle. And because you are subscribing to their service and buying by the case, you get the wine for a lot less than that. It's usually somewhere between like $10 and $20 per bottle, which is really cool. And it's really delicious. You know, I write like I talk. Sue, write like you talk. You're selling your business. And so Susan, who is commenting on here, is my dog trainer. She owns Mighty Dog, and she has really helped my dog Charles become a lot better behaved. Anybody who's met him before, he usually would be barking and whining and all over right now, but right now he is, I will show everybody, he is just relaxing in his place and being a good dog. And most of that is thanks to Sue. So Yeah, I think this was a good start to this. I hope this is something that people actually find interesting and not just ridiculous and me talking to myself. But if you have more questions about starting a small business and how to get it online, I could help you with search engine optimization, social media, personal branding, and website design and development type questions. So hopefully we can have this conversation about once a week and maybe start a podcast eventually if it's something that's interesting to you. So feel free to leave more comments in the video, and I can even just save them for next week. So I'm thinking probably next Friday around 4 o'clock again. So thanks for watching, and please leave me a comment.